Hey guys, what's up? It's Kevin for the win here, and today we're playing something completely different on the channel. It's July, new series. We're going to be playing Diablo free throughout the season of 21, called the Season of Tempest, I believe. And I've already done 4 chapters of the season's journey, but I wanted to do something a bit different. Instead of playing the Anarius build, we're going to actually be using the brand new Necromancer set, as you can see on the screen. It's called the what's it called again? It's the Crimson. No, it's the Masquerade of the Burning Carnival. Very, very weird name for an armor set. Usually, most of the armor sets in Diablo have some lore attached to them, such as, Rothmon's armor or Ionaris, something related to the Necromancer class. But in this case, they decided to go with Masquerade of the Burning Carnival. And, you could see those are the skills up on the screen right now. Pretty much Masquerade of the Burning Carnival set. Relies heavily on Bone Spear and Simulacrums for its buffs. So basically, in this armor set, you're going to be chucking Bone Spears, and your Simulacrums are actually never going to dissipate thanks to what we have in KNOX Cube, as you can see here. And to give us even more extra added power, we're using a Scythe of the Sickle. And we're also using one of the amulets that helps boost bone armor. Why? Because every time we bring up a bone armor, we're going to be doing massive amounts of damage. This armor set can hit for somewhere between 10 to 20 billion damage, depending on if I get my hit rates and critical hit rates, I should say, for that matter, right. So we're going to do a couple of seasonal challenges for this particular episode. We're going to knock off some of these very similar, easy ones to do. I've already completed, actually, Greater Rift 70, so I have access to be able to unlock primordial, ancient, legendary items and whatnot. But right now, we're going to start off by tracking down some of those infernal machines. We're going to take care of those. Those are some of the things that we need to complete our Chapter 5 season journey, because that's how far we're into it so far. I didn't do the first 4 chapters because it would have been the Anarius build, which pretty straightforward. So we're going to go right into it right now. This is the area where you need to activate the infernal machines, which are basically what's the best way I could put it? Variants of some of the bosses that are featured in the game. They're supposed to be harder variants, but as you're going to see in a minute, the Masquerade of the Burning Crusade armor set is quite OP at the moment. We're swinging for, as you can see up on the screen, a pretty hefty amount of damage. We were able to clear things with ease. All right, so here we are. We're at the Realm of Regret. Let's see. I'm going to bring up my bone armor, and I'm just going to bring up my simulacrums and fire a bone spike or two. And let me fire some bone spears at her, too, and that's pretty much it for her. As you can see already, in terms of power, we have an incredibly large amount of power at our disposal with the Masquerade of the Burning Carnival. From now on in this video, I'm just going to call it the Masquerade, because it's so long to be able to keep saying that name over and over again. So we pretty much already cleared off another seasonal challenge with great ease, so I think it's only fitting that we'll go back, activate another one of the keys to fight another one of the machines. Going to be pretty much straightforward again. Pop my bone armor, then activate my simulacrums. I'm going to fire a bone armor. The simulacrums are going to fire a couple off as well. Pretty much I'm pointing a laser at things, and they're shooting things at it. So it's kind of like I'm kind of pointing to my snipers as to where they're going to fire and whatnot. Very good armor set. I wouldn't say it's S tier. Has trouble pushing some of the higher Greater Rift builds. Alright, let's pop this for my spears, and as you can see, they both died rather fast. Now, you might be asking at home, why is that the case? Well, one of the items that I have, or one of the abilities I have on my bone spear, is the ability that it does double damage, or 3 times the amount of damage when you figure all the buffs in play. And you just fire a bone spear, and as many if the spear passes through a whole bunch of enemies on screen, pretty much do triple amount of damage. So right now we're fighting one of the bosses. This was going to be a bit longer, trying to get some massacre bonuses going. The higher up our massacre bonuses go, the higher our Paragon goes. Right now we're sitting somewhere in the 480 or 90 range for our Paragon so far for the season. So we got a lot on our plate in terms of thing. Let me fire off a couple more bone spears here, clear off some of these enemies. Doing this cursed chest. This is not part of the mission, but I just want to get more items, see if we can get a couple of loot drops. Loot drops are always very, very, very important to the cause. Alright, let's see what we got here. Alright, fairly easy as you can tell at home. Just pop your bone armor, fire some spears, Simulacrum will fire some spears. You can drop a couple of curses. One of the benefits of the Masquerade set is that you get all 3 of your curse abilities applied at the same time, so pretty much all 3 of the curses are available to us all in one set. Pretty good. As you can see, we're pretty much cutting through these enemies like butter, or I should say a knife that's with hot butter. We took care of that little side objective with ease. Fairly easily, okay. Not a lot of good loot, but we could definitely use the death breaths to convert some rare items into legendary items, so that's always good. That's pretty much why I'm also going through some of these things. You know, we need a lot of death breaths, alright. Another thing that's really important to note about the Masquerade set is the fact that it can burn through a lot of essence. We're talking about a tremendous amount of essence. So in order to counterbalance that, we have the Devouring Aura ability on our Necromancer class. So anytime a corpse is laying on the ground, we just basically consume it for more essence. So in theory, we're never really going to be running out of any essence, so we should be able to chuck a whole bunch of bone spears with ease. As you're seeing on the screen right now, we have one of the special event abilities going off, which is kind of like called Tempest. Basically, some random storm goes off every 2 minutes. It could be lightning, it could be a burning wall, it could be a rolling snowball, it could be basically toxic meteors, okay? Dealt with that chest rather easily, as you could say. Pretty much, you know, it's got a whole bunch of things. It rotates every so often. Kind of reminds me of Convention of Elements, and it kind of reminds me of the season of Pandemonium, if you're familiar with that. Pandemonium always triggers every 2 minutes, but it's not as good as the season of Pandemonium. Alright, so pretty much we're just going to make our way to boss. We're going to pop off any enemies that we encounter here. Relatively easy. Not, as you can see, pretty much we're one-shotting just about everything that stands our way. There's a stalker. Got to be careful because we can get one shot with this if we don't, but we one-shot him instead. Alright, we picked up a rare item. That's always good to see. I think it's a rare amulet. We'll be inspecting that later on in the video. We're definitely not going to want to do that right now. Alright, as you can see, just chucking the spears. Pretty much that's all the Masquerade set does. You chuck some spears, the more that spear goes for enemies, the more damage it does. We have a specific ability set that'll slow our enemies even if they survive. We've got a Bane of the Powerful, we have a Bane of the Trap, and we have a Bane of the Stricken on this armor set. So we're pretty much, at this point, I'd say safe enough to say that we're very, very endgame. We have some legendary pieces on our armor set. Not all of the Masquerade set is legendary pieces yet. Because, you know, Diablo is all about RNG, so it'll probably be hours and hours, days, maybe even weeks before we have a fully maxed out legendary Masquerade set. But Diablo's not really a race, it's about a marathon, even though some people will speedrun it and whatnot in the leaderboards. Speaking of leaderboards, the Masquerade set is definitely not something that you're going to be seeing pushing high tier of the leaderboards. It's probably going to be somewhere around maybe, a lot of people say B plus tier. I'm saying somewhere along the lines of, it's an A tier. It's one of these sets where you can definitely push with it, but you can't speedrun. And unfortunately, when it comes to the leaderboards, it's all about speedrunning. So you want to, obviously, a mix set here, and we should be coming up against, I think it's Uzuril that we're facing off against here. I could be wrong. Were we actually already up to... We're in the Crystal Arch? I think we're going... Yeah, no, we're going to be going up against Diablo himself, and we should be able to take care of him with relative ease. This is Form 1. Look at that. 3 hits in Form 1 of Diablo is already dead. Alright, on to Phase 2. And Phase 2 is already breezed through as well. On to Phase 3. Phase 3, as long as we keep the bone armor up, we're pretty much going to be doing billions of damage. So, alright, we don't have our bone armor up yet because we didn't have cooldown. But as you can see, Diablo, pretty much no problem. We're playing right now on Torment 10 difficulty. So yes, Torment 10. Maximum of 16 torments in Diablo difficulty. Obviously, 16 is the highest you can go as of yet. So we took care of Diablo. Knocked off another one of our seasonal challenges. I believe that was for Chapter 5 of the season. So we're going to go back now and take on some more challenges. I think this time we're going to be doing some Chapter 6 challenges on our boss fight or 2. Alright. Let me check it out here for a second. Okay, the only thing we have really left here... Oh no, we have one more on the Chapter 4. So we'll be doing that one right now. We're going to skip over doing the Master Set dungeons on the channel because those are pretty boring challenges to really watch at home. So, you know, it's just be me doing the same thing over and over again. And nobody really wants to watch that. So we're going to move on to which chapter is the boss located on. I believe it's this chapter. It should be... Let me think here for a second. Which one is it? No, because what's happening right now is my bounty is overcovering the thing. So this is it. We're going to be fighting on, I believe it's... Yeah, this is definitely Izuru that we'll be facing off, because this is the Silver Spiral level 1. Alright, so we popped our bone armor, and we're going to just start chucking our spears. One of the good things is, one of the things on our cube allows our simulacrums never to dissipate, as long as we have some essence in our thing, and based on some of the art items we have, we're, in theory, based on the skills and whatnot, never going to run out of essence, so we're always going to have our simulacrums up. Thanks to our simulacrums being up on the Masquerade set, we don't take as much damage as usually our Necromancer set classes do. So that's definitely an added benefit. We can deal a lot of damage, and we're also super tanky, which is something that's quite rare for the Necromancers. Necromancer set is usually incredibly squishy. You pretty much get squashed within a couple seconds. Let's pop in our bone armor. Chuck a couple more spears here. Pretty much relative with ease. I gotta definitely invest more Paragon in my movement speed, but right now I wanted to focus on basically our intelligence and our critical hit ratio and our high crit rate, because those are the things that the Necromancers need to be able to do the most. Intelligence is great. Popped in our bone armor so I can chuck my spears for billions and millions of damage, as you can see there. We got a legendary item. That's great. Got some more death breaths that we'll need. Alright, let's keep chucking our spears. Nothing is a problem for us. Even when we run into something that we can't one-shot, we're going to pop our bone spikes, which is going to cause it to get dizzy. And then based on all the our set pieces and abilities that we have, we're going to be doing like 3 to 4 times normal damage, thanks to just being able to stun them with the bone spikes. And then if we want, we can pop a curse, and that gives them more afflicting statuses. Pretty much, we do tons and tons of damage. So, you know, let me... Yeah, okay, there you go. See, I have to stun them a little bit, pop my bone armor, chuck the spears. Most of these things we can 1 or 2 shot. Not really a big deal for us. As you can see right now, we're pretty much coasting through these seasonal challenges with relative ease. It may look very easy at home, but this is about 3 or 4 days not recording of grinding and grinding just to, you know, get to level 70, just to grind the pieces of armor that I needed. I spent 1 whole day just trying to get one particular amulet that I needed in order to really make this set viable, because if you don't have a particular amulet that I showed you at the beginning of the video, you can't keep your simulacrums forever, and without the simulacrums being there forever, you lose a lot of power from the Masquerade set, or Masquerade of the Burning Carnival, the full name of the set. It's such a long name. You know, we have sets like Gift of Anaris, and then we have the Rothman armor, and this one, I don't know why they chose to name it something else. Another set that got a new armor, or another class that got a new armor this particular season was the Demon Hunter. I didn't really feel like playing a Pew Pew set. Maybe next season, I'll probably give that armor set a whirl. I'm not a big fan of Demon Hunter. It's too easy. All right, pop bone armor, and then we just chucked 2 spears, and we took out Uzuril with relative ease, and we knocked off a Nurse seasonal challenge. So this was a Nurse Season 4 challenge. Alright, now we're doing Season 5 challenges. We gotta fight some infernal machines, so we're fighting the Diablo clone. This one's not gonna go down too easily because now we're on Torment 13 to take these down. Chucked a couple spears, check my bone armor. Okay, check a couple spears, we should be good. I'm gonna dodge this laser, check the spear that I did. Alright. We took him down with relative ease, and we knock off a Season 5 challenge now. So yes, we moved the difficulty up, so the enemies are getting a bit more tankier now, so we're not having an easier time anymore. Alright, Ramatara, let's pop our bone armor and then chuck our spears. Takes massive damage, and there you go. We've took on another Seasonal 5 challenge with relative ease. That was about 10 seconds of speedrunning. Alright, back here we go again. We're going to be taking on, I believe, Ragnarnoth, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So this is a fairly long stage. You'll be able to see how well the Masquerade of the Burning Carnival armor set does on Torment 13. I think it's safe to say we're still doing relatively easy here. We're able to pierce through things and pretty much one-shot just about everything. So even on Torment 13, we're doing extremely well. This is thanks to the gems that we have on our armor pieces. I should mention that our armor set is not augmented yet. So this is a completely Alright, pick up those death breath and that rare item. Let me pop the curse and chuck some spears here. Alright. I should mention that our armor set, as powerful as it is, has not been actually augmented yet. I've pretty much been able to do all the way to Greater Rift 86 without a trouble, so pretty much I would say safely this armor can do about Greater Rift 86 to 90 without any augmentations on the armor. After that, pretty much you're going to have to start augmenting, which we'll be doing throughout this season's journey. Alright, we're making our way to the boss here. I believe it should be, who is this one? Alright, this is... Well, it doesn't even really matter who he was. We took him down within a matter of seconds. That's what we get. We just pop our bone armor, and then we just have our simulacrums up and fire a bone spear, I should say. And you pretty much do things with ease. Alright, so now we're doing another Season 5, Chapter 5 seasonal challenge. This time we're going to be taking on Adria, but before we do that, I'm taking a side detour to take care of this bounty. Relatively easy one. We just popped the chest. We did that very easily. Fortunately, these chests are not really going to give us anything of great use. Kind of unfortunate, but hey, you know, that is what it is with Diablo. If you want to get the best loot, alright. He should be dropping some death breaths. No, he didn't. Okay, that's a little unfortunate. But really, when it comes to Diablo, if you want to get the best loot, you really just got to keep grinding Greater Rifts. Usually Greater Rift 70s, Torment 13, that's where you're going to see the best loot drops. If you could do more damage and push higher easily, you want to do that. Really, though, you want to... For our armor, where it's at right now, we can basically speed run through Torment 13 to Torment... I'd say 50 with relative ease. We can't do Torment 16 speedrun just yet. After augmentation, we should be fine. Alright, my bone armor's up, so as you can see, just chucking the bone spears like a hot knife, cutting through butter pretty much with ease. We don't even really have to use too many of our curses here, as you can see, because we're just pew pew pew, pew pew pew, pew pew pew. In a way, it's kind of like the Burning Carnival set is pretty much kind of like a Demon Hunter set for Necromancers when you think about it, because all you're doing is pew pew pewing your bone spears. It's a pretty cool... I kind of like the new armor set. It's something different for the Necromancer class, because, you know, usually what they're always doing is Corpse Lance, and Corpse Lance, and Corpse Lance, and Corpse Lance sets. And that's pretty much what's been the most used set. And the Corpse Lance isn't even like an actual set armor set. It's just mix mosh of different armor pieces together, and that's considered the S-tier Necromancer. I kind of like to play the pure sets a little bit more, because it's something different. Yeah, I could run a meta set on the channel for Diablo, but so many other content creators doing that right now, and I wanted to really show everybody at home and, you know, show some people who might have overlooked this particular armor set for this season exactly what it can do. Because, so you can see from here, just based on the performance from this episode, let me throw the curse up there. All right. I threw the curse up so I could get a little bit more essence there because I was kind of burning through it a little bit too quickly. But, you know, in terms of this armor set, people have ranked it so far as a B+ thing. As you can see, it's doing extremely well. This is Torment 13, and we're pretty much laughing at everything's face pretty much right now. One-shotting everything. Nothing has been able to kill us at this point, and we're on Torment 13. Super hard difficulty. So, you know, I would dare go on a limb and say, in terms of this armor's power, it's far from B+. Say maybe we're talking a solid A+ tier. I won't go as far as to say S tier, only because S tier is usually based on how fast you can clear things. And maybe with more investment to our movement speed and our attack speed, as we continue to grind up our Paragon, we can really see how fast we can chuck these bone spears out. But as it stands right now, in terms of the frames per second as you're chucking the bone spears, obviously it's not the fastest. Inaris probably has it down packed in terms of how fast it can go. But then remember, Inaris even is an S tier armor set piece for the Necromancer, because Inaris struggles greatly on Torment 13 and up. You know, you pop your bone armor, it gets the tornado spin effect, but it's not able to do a whole bunch of damage. I think, in a way, I would put Masquerade of the Burning Carnival much, much higher than Inaris in terms of its usability and power. Is it better than Rothmon? I don't know. I haven't experimented enough really with Rothmon on like an actual season of just playing Rothmon to be able to say, but Singularity Mages is definitely something that is quite powerful, but the end all to be all pretty much right now is Corpse Spear. But I will say one thing. Corpse Explosion got a huge buff this season. I was, for the first 4 chapters, which you didn't get to see, I was playing Inaris with Corpse Explosion, and we tore through a whole bunch of armors, or I should say a whole bunch of greater rifts with relative ease. So I think Corpse Explosion variants definitely got a chance of being at least A+, maybe not S tier. I think Corpse Lance is still going to be. Maybe they'll mix somehow Corpse Lance with Corpse Explosion. All right, took down that elite with rather relative ease there. Basically looking around for Adria right now, but I got stuck doing this little sub-objective. Adria pretty much is going to be all the way in the back. But as far as Masquerade of the Burning Carnival goes, I'd say, for me personally, I wouldn't put it at S tier, but I would say maybe it's A+ tier. Because I was able to get 86 Greater Rift, close to 90 Greater Rift, non-augmented. Sure, there's our armor sets. Okay, we did that objective there. Sure, there's our armor sets that are non-augmented that could probably push to 100 before it needs augmentation, but those would be the S+ sets, or the S tier plus sets. So, my personal opinion, don't, you know, this set right now, without the augmentations, after augmentations, we'll definitely experiment a bit more. I'd say we're looking at a very A+ set. And, you know, the thing about it is it's a relatively new armor set. As the seasons progress, this can definitely get buffed. This could get nerfed. I think, definitely I'd like to see a rework in regards to the 2-piece and 4-piece set bonus. Because, yeah, it allows you to take more damage and be more tanky, but that's pretty much all it does. You know, it should be able to do something a little bit more for the simulacrums. I shouldn't have to use, like, particularly that amulet just to keep them up. I feel like that's something that should have been incorporated into the armor set, where your simulacrums are always up automatically, and maybe do some little nerfs to how much damage they did that way. Kind of like the tarantula set that's for the Witch Doctor. You know how you get the big tarantula, and when you have the armor set on, you always have the big tarantula with you, you know, without having to, you know, burn through anything. I kind of want to see some type of rework for the Masquerade of the Burning Carnival set. to incorporate that so we can, like, free up our amulet slot to be able to use something else besides what we're using right now, because we don't have as much leeway in terms of Kanai's cube and pieces of things we can use now. Alright, so I found the entrance to Adria. We're gonna take her on, and I think this will be the last challenge we do on the channel. I'm figuring we're gonna pretty much one-shot Adria. So, our first outing with Masquerade of the Burning Carnival's armor set, and I'd say we have shown how effective it could be. Speaking of effective, all I did was chuck one spear at her with my bone armors up, and we pretty much did billions of damage, and she got one-shotted. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for our first Diablo 3 chapter, or 5 and 4, season 21 video. If you like what you saw, consider giving us a like and subscribing to the channel. If you subscribe to the channel, make sure to turn on that bell notification to get notifications as to when I upload videos. I upload various video game videos Monday through Friday, weekly. It's a different video game every day, but now that we're in July, I'm rotating some new games into the rotation. Diablo is one of them. And tell me what you think about the Masquerade of the Burning Carnival armor set in the comments. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you